One clear morning, I walked outside with my coffee and stopped dead. A huge, old, faded trailer was sitting on my front yard like it owned the place. At first, I thought it was a mistake. Maybe construction workers got the wrong address. But when I walked closer still in my pajamas, a cheap plastic name tag blowing in the wind caught my eye. Written in ugly purple marker was the name Linda. My heart dropped. Everyone in our neighborhood knew Linda. She was the HOA board's mean boss lady, carrying her clipboard like a magic wand and giving out tickets for tiny problems like flowers that were too bright. And now her ugly, rusty trailer was messing up my yard. I went to talk to her that afternoon. Linda was on her porch spraying her fake plants. Yes, fake plants, with a water bottle like they might grow. "It's just for a little while," she said, sweetly without even looking up. "My driveway is getting fixed. Maybe a week." Her voice was all fake sweet and rude, but I didn't believe her. I looked at her driveway. Not one crack, not one stone out of place. "You know this is my yard, right?" I said. My voice was angry, the kind that warns I'm about to blow up. Linda rolled her eyes so hard I thought I heard a sound. "Well, actually," she said, "the grass edge is shared with everyone, part of how things should look. As a board member, I decide these things." I stared at her. She wasn't just parking her junk on my yard. She was saying it belonged to her. When I asked what rule she was using, she waved her hand. "Extra rule I added," she said, which really meant I just made it up. I looked up the HOA rules that night. Nothing about trailers on yards. There was a rule, though, about no blow-up snowmen after February and how tall grass had to be. I guess Linda's swampy old trailer didn't mess up her special look. I tried being patient for a few days. The trailer became the neighborhood joke. Kids called it Linda's leaky house. My dog wouldn't even pee near it, which I thought was smart. But then I saw her nephew, a 20-something guy with a vape thing and an ankle tracker, sneaking out of the trailer. This wasn't temporary. This was her taking over my land, building her cheap kingdom on my property. I knocked on Linda's door, calm but serious. "Your trailer's still here and now someone's living in it." She smiled meanly and said, "He's family. Rule 8C says emergency visits are okay." I asked what emergency. She said with a straight face, "Hurt feelings from mean neighbors." I almost choked. Linda didn't just think she was above the rules. She thought she was the rules. That was when I decided to fight mean with sneaky. I grabbed a marker, a piece of wood, and got to work. The next morning, a sign stood tall on my yard, 3 feet from her trailer. "For sale, slightly used trailer. Squatter included. No keys, no title, no shame." I added a fake Google phone number for fun. By lunch, cars slowed down to look. Kids on bikes circled around, one talking like a house seller. "This rust palace comes with its own bug hotel feel." Someone posted it to the town's Facebook page. Then it hit Reddit's HOA nightmare stories. In 24 hours, it was famous all over the world. Top comment, "This is the fight I'd pick." Another person offered to add air freshener for a fancy listing. A local blogger called it America's meanest property ad. Linda acted like she didn't care, but on day 2, she ran onto my yard, the yard she said wasn't mine, and ripped the sign out like it had said bad things about her family. "This is lying about me," she screamed, holding it like a prize. I smiled. "Exactly. So get your stuff off my yard or I'll start charging you money." Her face twitched like a broken robot. "I'm telling on you to the board," she snapped. I reminded. Hershey was the board, but her power wouldn't last now that the internet was watching. By day 3, neighbors came out every night drinking coffee like it was a TV show. One guy brought popcorn, another brought lawn chairs. A local podcast called Suburban Nightmares asked to talk to me on my porch. I said yes, wiping bird poop off the trailer to make it look worse. Linda tried to butt in, yelling, "This is private." "Property?" The host shot back. "You mean his private property?" She stomped off in the middle of recording. The fake phone number got amazing voicemails. One guy offered a broken hot tub in trade. Another asked if the trailer came with a drug lab or if that cost extra. Linda went into full hiding mode. Black. Curtains up, saying the neighborhood was mean to women and leaders. But things were changing. Greg from House 29, an HOA kiss-up, called me. She never got permission, he said. Not even close. Jackpot. I dug into the HOA rulebook that Linda herself had written. No temporary house could be put up without filling out forms and board approval. She had neither. Even worse, she'd used HOA money to rent the trailer for her nephew, who wasn't even allowed in our neighborhood because of past crimes. This wasn't just ugly, it was against the law. I put together a big file, trailer photos, timestamps, rules, a leaked HOA money screenshot, thanks Reddit detectives, and an official survey proving Linda's shared with everyone claim was 2 feet into my property. I mailed it to all 6 board members, hand-delivered one to Greg, and left one in Linda's mailbox for perfect payback. 2 days later, an emergency board meeting was called to make things clear, code for Linda's been caught. She showed up, in sunglasses, saying her eyes were sensitive, but we all knew she was avoiding angry looks. When asked about the permit, she mumbled about everyone agreeing verbally. When pushed about the money, she called the trailer an investment in movable buildings. Someone coughed out a laugh. Greg, fed up, took the microphone. We never said yes, Linda. You lied about the money, and now we're famous under trailer tantrum. The room burst into clapping. Linda hissed, "You're all against me," and stomped out in her usual baby exit. The trailer stayed, but not for long. I found a buried rule in Section 5 that banned non-resident junk on private yards. Linda's own weapon turned against her. I sent it to the board with a note. Thanks, Linda. Then I called city code enforcement. The trailer with her nephew inside broke zoning laws. An orange extension cord ran from her house to the trailer. A fire danger and tripping. Risk. The inspector whistled. Get video, he said. My Ring cameras had it in 4K. The board voted 5-1 to make her remove it. Guess who voted no? I printed the 72-hour notice and taped it to the trailer with a smiley face. Linda tore it down. But the neighborhood had seen it. Her nephew yelled from inside. You said we had months, she snapped back, but I was too busy laughing into my custom obstruction-removed mug. Linda tried one last trick. A community unity meeting in her driveway with lemonade and a pamphlet called Reimagining Green Space. 3 people showed up. 2 were door-to-door religious people who grabbed cookies and left. On day 3, hours before the city's checkup, a rental tow truck coughed to life. The trailer jerked off my yard with her nephew rattling inside like loose coins. It got stuck in my driveway and Linda begged for help. We all watched, one neighbor live streaming. Here we see the Linda beast going back to nowhere. Once it was gone, I posted a final sign. Now accepting offers. Slightly used yard, worry-free since Wednesday. It got more likes than the original. You'd think that was the end, but Linda wasn't done. My worry-free sign disappeared overnight. Then my solar lights. Then someone spray-painted Yard Bandit on my trash can. The final straw, a dozen plastic flamingos showed up on my yard, each with a banner reading People's Property. I laughed until my mailbox was smashed off its post. Serious vandalism. I called the police, showed them my Ring footage. Linda put it up at 3 a.m. playing Ninja. The officer's smile faded. This is trespassing and breaking property. We can file charges. I told everything, trailer fines, fake budgets. He wrote notes fast. She's been kicked off HOA power? He asked. Yep. Acting without permission. Double yep, he grinned. We're starting an investigation. The next day, cops visited Linda. She answered in a gross robe, playing innocent, but left with a ticket. Then I noticed my water bill had jumped. The officer checked my water spout and found a hidden hose taped under leaves running to Linda's bushes. Stealing utilities, another charge. Linda posted a crazy rant on the community Facebook page blaming me, the board, the cops, and sneaky assassins. Comments were turned off. Shares destroyed her. Her nephew left, apparently done with her mess. She even tried a restraining order, saying I was using City Hall as a weapon. The judge threw it out. But Linda's final act was her downfall. She stormed the county zoning office demanding they override the board's decisions, claiming emergency war powers. She submitted a secret HOA money ledger showing years of shady payments, $1,000 for Harmony initiatives, thousands for grass consulting from fake companies, including one connected to her nephew. The clerk flagged it, and the state HOA checker pounced. Cheryl, the new board president, found tens of thousands stolen. Greg admitted he'd ignored warning signs, fooled by Linda's "transparency causes chaos" motto. He testified to the state, earning Cheryl's forgiveness but not mine. Linda was served a court summons in front of her flower bushes, hissing "fake news" as her door slammed. Charges piled up: lying, stealing money, faking documents, and misusing community resources. At trial, she represented herself, jacket too tight, binders stacked like a wall. "This is a grass coup," she declared. The judge wasn't amused. The prosecution showed a digital trail: 3 a.m. budget changes, checks to fake vendors, an email to her nephew promising to pay utilities for his silence. Her defense? AI wrote it. The judge noted she'd signed it with a selfie. Guilty plea on smaller charges followed, avoiding jail but not consequences. $30,000 payback, 200 hours of community service weeding for neighbors she'd find, and a lifetime ban from any HOA board. The courtroom clapped. Cheryl whispered, "We've been using national templates, not her rules." The sentencing was a neighborhood holiday. I wore a Trailer Tantrum 2025 shirt. Cheryl brought cookies. Someone printed programs. Linda looked defeated. Her punishment money funded benches, lights, and a garden where her trailer once sat, marked by a garden gnome with a Linda's Legacy plaque. She was spotted later in a bright vest picking up trash, eyes down. The HOA changed. Open meetings, suggestion boxes. My solar lights were approved. Linda's fall helped grow a better community, but never trust anyone preaching green space fairness with a straight face. Sometimes a sign, a camera, and a little legal fight are all it takes to beat a bully.